As soon as it goes live, someone's phone vibrates.
Mikey.
That's great. And we can't start because Mikey, do you need to take that?
No, it wasn't me this time. I made very specific precautions to make it not me. Okay.
That's good. This will make a good thing to move after the closing credits. Okay. Welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We are your first stop and your last best hope for Transformers news in Australia. This is episode 129. Stop looking at me like that, Mikey. We are recording live on November 3rd, 2017. Now, in this episode, we're going to be talking about Machinima's Titans Return series, some new Power of the Primes updates and news about the release of the figures, upcoming Takara figures, and more. I'm Jason. Joining me this week, we have Mikey from Sydney. How are you doing?
Good, and apparently screwing up this thing already, even when I'm not.
You already screwed up the intro. Why not?
Yeah, I might as well screw up the rest of the thing. Flabbity flippity flu. Yeah, no, I'm good. I got something interesting in the mail, which I'm going to talk about later, but that was fun this week. That was actually from someone on the show that I used my detective skills to figure out. So, yeah, today was.
We may or may not talk about that on the show.
Okay.
We also have Brad coming to us from a secret location in his bunker in rural Victoria.
Evening, guys. Evening. I jumped on the Max bandwagon this week and chopped the locks off. So.
No, you didn't. They're still there.
Yeah, they're visible. They're clearly
visible. The sides are gone. The sides are gone.
No, fair enough. There is noticeably less. It's
not
less.
noticeable.
It's less bouffant.
Yeah, it's less Max.
I have no idea how Max could actually see some weeks, but yeah.
That's funny.
All right. Now, special guest tonight joining us from the past. We have Chris Turner, the Queensland State Representative for TCCA. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great. Thanks, guys, and thanks for having me on tonight.
Fantastic. It's lovely to have you. You've very kindly written a bio into the run sheet, which makes you the only participant in the podcast for the last year to actually edit the run sheet for me. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, for the record, Brad did ask me to. I didn't just jump on there and say.
But now we can easily put you in a blister package, and then send you off to the Chinese, and then they'll make multiple versions.
Don't use the company that shall not be named to ship me, otherwise I'll never get there.
No. That's Voldemort territory right there. Anyway,
Australia Post.
Yeah. Oh, you said it. Oh, kill him.
Yeah,
kill him.
I'll get there. I'll just get there all beaten up, I think. But yeah, I'll get there at least.
God.
Now, Chris, in your bio, it says that you've been a member of the club for 3 years, thus outranking many of us, and you are the founder of the Decepticon Military Network, which is a prolific Facebook page which posts a lot of information about our favorite bad guys.
Yeah, that's correct. Basically, it was something
I thought you might take umbrage to the term bad guys.
Hey, well, look, if the shoe fits, man.
And we are joined by my cat.
But yeah, basically I'd be getting close to 6 or 7 years ago. Just started a Facebook page for like-minded Transformers enthusiasts who, basically really like Decepticons. And yeah, we've gone up and up, and to the point now where we're sort of, I don't want to sound pretentious, but it's kind of like we're a bit of an authority in this sort of area. But basically, all we do is, it's a propaganda page. It's all hail Megatron, and but yeah, we got a team of international admins, from Australia to the US to the UK, and post a lot of info. Do a few odd little fun competitions and stuff like that. But yeah. That's basically all there is to it. But yeah, check it out sometime. Decepticon Military Network.
No, I do need to ask: does the existence of the Decepticon Military Network imply that other networks exist for Decepticon fans across the internet? So, for instance, might we find the Decepticon Musical Network?
Well, it's funny you say that actually, because I sort of just came up with it out of nowhere one day, and as soon as we started getting a bit of movement and a bit of numbers behind us, suddenly a lot of different networks came out. And one, ironically, is this one called the Decepticon News Network, which is weird. See, I got the military network thing from like comics and stuff like that. Like it's an actual thing in Transformers lore. But the news network page ended up getting more likes than our page did, which kind of annoyed me because it was like kind of our idea. And they basically just do the same thing that we do, but you know, at the end of the day, it's I'm not losing any sleep over it. But yeah, there's been quite a few imitators that have popped up, but they all like that network thing. They love to. There was also an Autobot intelligence network and
get out of here. Go away. We don't like you. You're not fun.
So yeah, but yeah, no, I don't know. I guess it's sort of a pretty good format, you know. So there have been a lot of people who've jumped on the bandwagon sort of thing. So yeah, but
Fantastic.
I reckon the military network would be the music network any day, because I think guns and ammo would be, you know, trumpets and.
I don't know. You never know. There could be Guns N' Roses.
They could have Soundwave. I mean, he turns into a stereo. So
yeah, but then Soundwave would probably want to stick with the cool guys on the military network. I don't know.
They're going to win the war with the power of song.
Moving hearts and minds.
So, Chris, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Transformers that you choose to collect, besides the fact that they're Decepticons?
Yeah, well, I guess that's the central focus. Obviously, I'm what you'd call a purist, so I only collect Decepticons. There is the odd minor exception, but I would say odd being like the occasional Predacon from Beast Wars or something like that. But yeah,
look, you have to have some bots for the Decepticons to torture, right?
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, every time I see a cool Autobot I want, I just buy it for my 5-year-old son so he can,
destroy it.
Dad's got to show him how it transforms and everything first, you know.
It's like, just don't worry about this, son. If his arm falls off, it doesn't matter.
That's it. You know, that's what they're made for. But I mainly collect chugs. So God, I keep forgetting what that even stands for. So something Henkei
Classics,
Universe,
Henkei,
Classics, Henkei Universe Generations. So that's your sort of your Voyagers, your Deluxes, Leader Class, all that sort of stuff. But lately I've been branching out a little bit, and I've actually gotten a few MPs and third parties and add-on kits and all sorts of stuff as well. So
Nice.
and I'm sort of don't really want to fall too much in love with the MPs and the third-party stuff, just because they are really cool, and I can see my collection just sort of taking a nosedive towards them really quickly. So
I gotta say that my collection didn't take a nosedive, but my bank balance did.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's it. I can see my wallet hemorrhaging, so it kind of already does.
That's funny that you say. So it's Decepticons only. So you have no Predacons at all. So you don't.
I've got 2 Predacons. I've got the Beast Wars Anniversary Megatron, and as of today, I've got the Generations Waspinator. But other than that, they're every single one's a Decepticon. Oh, unless you could argue, I've got Unicron as well, so he's not technically a Decepticon. So.
He's whatever he wants to be.
Monday,
he's something. Yeah, Decepticon.
It is kind of weird, like the way Unicron's box has always had a Decepticon logo on it. It's just like
slap something on there.
So someone at Hasbro desperately feels the need not to ship a Transformer without one faction logo on it somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
odd,
right. But yeah.
I think it's about. No, I was going to say I think it's about time we go, but go on.
I just wanted to ask one question. Have you collected Combiner Wars, Titans Return, and now Power of the Primes? Are you collecting any of that, Chris?
I've really been impressed with Titans Return. Like, I got a few of the Combiner Wars stuff. Like, I really loved the Bruticus they brought out, and a few bits and pieces on top of that. But Titans Return is amazing. I think, like, I really like the modernization of like the old stuff, and I think they've just nailed the formula. Like, I've gotten more Titans Return than probably any other series put together.
Oh wow.
just because, yeah, especially for Decepticon fans, like they've just got all the big boys, like and stuff like characters like Mindwipe and Weird Wolf and stuff like that we haven't, and Six Shot even, like we haven't seen a version of him officially since G1. So, and
Nope.
I mean that's a long time to wait for a modern version of a figure, you know. So and I just think they're going from strength to strength. Like, to be honest, I'm looking at Power of Primes and I haven't been overly impressed, not the way I have been with Titan's Return, but there still have been a few like nice looking figures. But
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
What if there was black, purple, and teal Dinobots?
Oh, see, I just wish, because you know I watch there's not many Transformers series I haven't watched, even the ones I sit down with my son and watch. And I noticed in the new Robots in Disguise cartoon, there's one episode and one of the Decepticons in it is a Decepticon Dinobot, and he turns into one of those Ankylosaurus things, you know, with the club tail. And I just thought to myself, like, why did they not release a figure of that? A Decepticon Dinobot. I mean, that would be
Slash
I reckon
or something.
Scowl.
I forget his name. Scowl. Yeah, that's right.
But I don't know why they didn't make a figure of that. I would have bought 10 of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it is a market. I mean, obviously with the Dinobot combiner they're doing and everything, it's a market that obviously sells. You know, like they've obviously got you know, there's a lot of credibility in releasing figures like that. So why they wouldn't make a Decepticon Dinobot, I don't know. But I don't know how Hasbro and Kara think. Yeah.
Most likely Shattered Glass. I don't know. They shall squeeze all the blood from the stone.
Wouldn't mind. Oh, actually, I wouldn't mind seeing a few maybe more special edition Shattered Glass figures on general release. Like later on, we'll be talking about some of the convention exclusives that have been coming out lately. But I wouldn't mind seeing those done as Shattered Glass because it gives them a reason to actually exist slightly away from the main line. But yeah, we'll see.
I guess kind of Rodimus Unicronus, maybe. Isn't he kind of based off of Shattered Glass Rodimus?
Well, but it's clearly not Shattered Glass in this case.
Yeah,
but yes,
it's not. You can say Shattered Glass, I guess. Yeah.
It has sort of originated there, I think.
Fair enough.
All right, shall we make a move? Do some podcasty like business and some news. Let's talk about Put Your Bot to Work Day, and let's talk about the fact that my cat has just joined me on the desk.
He enjoys the picture.
He really does. I'm just going to put him down here. I hope you can't hear him purr. So yeah. Put Your Bot to Work Day is the competition in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia Facebook group that encourages you to get your bot out, take it into the real world, give it a bath.
Yeah, they can get stinky.
And we have questions about this one, don't we?
Yes,
we do. So this week's winner is Russell Bird, who managed to give Optimus Prime a bath in a bird bath. Well done, well done, Russell. So good job. And I think the caption for this was "You jelly," yeah. So we actually do have questions over exactly which figure has made it into the bath here, because. Frankly, I think none of us would do this to any of our figures.
No way.
I think when we saw this and then saw the how many votes did it end up with, Brad? Was it like 18 or 19?
Yeah, 18. Yeah.
When we saw this and we saw the 18 votes next to it, our hearts just went a little, oh no.
Russell killed it in the competition this week. He got like more than triple everybody else. I think it was a wide margin. He took the win.
I got to say, I voted for this one as well. So,
but then again, I voted for a couple because I liked a couple in there. Again, like there's a lot of good ones every week, but then there's just like ones that stand out like this, obviously, and win it.
That's not how it's supposed to work, Mikey.
Are you supposed to only vote for one?
I'll be honest.
Where in the rules? Where in the rules do you say that, mate? Come on.
Where's
the rules?
Like, oh my god, I have to go back and redo 31 weeks worth of winners.
How dare you break the non-existent rules. You make me sick, mate.
It'll be rule for next year. Don't worry.
There'll be 17. Mikey cannot enter.
That's already a rule.
Mikey, you need to
Oh,
know
damn it.
the rules are whatever Brad decides the rules are at the time. That's what the rules are.
That's actually
In his head, though.
that is actually true of so many things.
Mikey's already got his name in the hat anyway.
Oh, I've got 5.
Yeah.
No, 1 for that, but that's coming up later. Anyway, this is cool. What's the figure is the question we're asking.
Yeah, I mistook it for MP1, but it's too small.
think
What does the sign say in the background?
Yeah, probably toilets at one point.
Yeah, I'm just hoping it says something like, "Please do not leave your Optimus in the bath."
In the bird bath. This is
But
happened far too frequently.
I heard they actually did go out and make that sign just for.
Yeah. Well, it's plaguing. It's plaguing the country at the moment. It's
It's an epidemic. I think. Okay, I'm gonna have to say it's MP1. Does MP1 have posable thumbs? Like that posable?
Yes, actually, it
For
does.
its size.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
So
I think you're right. Actually, just
And is there a KO of MP1?
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
and also
I'm
just
hoping
looking
that's
at the boxiness of
Yeah.
the legs and stuff. Yeah, I think so. But also, MP1 actually has quite dark blue legs, so this could be the Hasbro version of it, or it might
Yeah.
just be a KO. We can only hope.
This might just be the version that he just walks around and hits people that he doesn't like with. You don't know.
And
That- that
drops
I've got
into
a version
bird
of
baths.
toys. Yeah, of course.
Someone
Plenty
needs
of boxes full of water.
Get us answers.
We shall
Anyway,
find
cool.
out from Russell at some point now that he, excuse me, is the winner of Put Your Bot to Work Day.
Congratulations, you did good. Very
Yeah.
nice job.
Nice one.
Let's talk about some news, shall we?
Yes, we should.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news,
Oh.
but
There's
the new
that.
Titans Return Machinima series is almost here. So cower
crap.
in fear, humans. If you didn't really like the Combiner Wars series, then we don't think Machinima cares. They've got
Yep,
they've
basically.
got money from Hasbro, and they've got animators, and they've got a bigger voice cast this time around. Just a reminder that they are doing 10 episodes of 11 minutes each, so we do expect to see a little bit more action, and hopefully, hopefully more than zero action, and hopefully a little bit larger cast.
Well, can I be the devil's advocate here?
Someone
I know
has
it's
to.
going to be extremely
Avocado.
unpopular, but I won't say I loved it, but I actually liked Combiner Wars. When there was this
There's a
huge
button to remove Chris from the podcast. Right?
when there was this huge backlash against it, I honestly, I mean, I know it wasn't perfect and it could have been better. I'm not gonna deny that, but I don't think it really deserved the backlash that it got. I think it wasn't quite that bad. And I think one of the things that helped me is when I first saw it, I didn't watch it in the tiny chunks in the installments. Somebody before Machinima copyright took it down, some dude had put on YouTube all of them crammed together in a movie length feature. And I watched it like that for the first time, and I wouldn't say I loved it, but I didn't mind it, and I certainly didn't think like, oh my god, this sucks, like, you know, to the point where I'm actually kind of looking forward to this new series, and especially with the voice cast that it's got, like Peter Cullen, Will Wheaton, and Judd Nelson as Hot Rod again. Like,
you have to say that properly. It's Will Wheaton.
Wheaton! But yeah, and Judd Nelson as Hot Rod again. For me, like, that's amazing. I mean, sure, you know, Peter Cullen's Optimus Prime, like Big Whoop, he's always Optimus Prime, but like, you know,
Except when he's not.
yeah, well, you know, which is rare. But Judd Nelson as Hot Rod, that hasn't happened since the movie, you know. So
Jason David Frank, I think this is his first appearance in any voice acting. I'm not sure.
No, it's not.
Is it? What else
No.
has he voice acted in?
I don't know. We could Google it. You could Google it.
Oh, I did, and I think he's only ever done really the Power Ranger stuff and a couple of like weird shit as well. But
Which is voiceover work.
No, I don't think he has done anything like that. All right.
They're not in the suits, Mikey. It's a.
I'm going.
apparently Michael Dorn is the voice of Metroplex.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah,
That will be cool. I've heard him already.
they've clearly got a bigger budget for voice actors here, and they've got a bit of a mix of the cast from Combiner Wars and new people who cost more money.
Yeah. All your favourites from Combiner Wars are coming back, so like Rat Pack and Dashi Games. Can't wait to see them again.
I've noticed they haven't put the credit for Frank Welker on the poster.
No, there's no.
I don't think Frank Welker's actually in it.
No.
Oh, okay. That would be
Megatron.
The Megatron guy's back.
He's good. I like him.
He was good. A bad job.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah. John Bailey did a respectable Peter Cullen impression last time, but this time Peter Cullen has returned from Bali and is available to spend an hour in the studio and do some voice acting work.
Yep, so now you're going to hear Movie Prime coming from G1 Prime. That's going to make people happy.
Yes. Yeah. There will be more than meets the eye.
Who's
the Linkin Park theme track going?
Yeah.
Dashi Games, I believe, is it Victorion? Oh no, that's Abby Trott. Actually, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
One was Knockwoman. Oh yeah, Knockwoman and Rat Pack's Menasor. Because Menasor's back. Yeah.
Well, I know that Jason Dave and Frank is he's apparently the Titan Master.
Emissary.
Yeah, he's emissary.
Yeah.
And from his IMDb, he looks like he's ever acted. He hasn't voice acted, so.
Wasn't he the Green Ranger? I never watched Power Rangers. So.
Yeah,
he's been every Ranger.
Has he?
He's been everywhere, man.
If you want a good version of Machinima's Combiner Wars, there's this guy called Frederick who's actually now in our group because he's an Aussie.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yep.
He's done he's redone Combiner Wars, and it is hilarious, and it is really, really good.
It's worth a watch.
So hopefully he does this series if it's, as the majority says, not the best. But no, that is quite a funny thing that he did to it. So hopefully he can, make this at least watchable after it's been fully redone.
I think they totally missed the opportunity of the original voice of Triptychon and G1 was the dude from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
the big brother, what's his name? Robert?
Robert Barone.
It was Brad Garrett, wasn't it?
Brad Garrett, that's right. Yeah. They totally,
so you know why they can't get Brad Garrett? Because he's busy hosting one of the most prestigious comedy nights every week in Vegas. Like he has his own comedy club and everything.
Yeah, well, he's not an obvious stand-up comedian. Yeah.
And also appearing on Law and Order SVU as a crooked cop, which was awesome to see that.
Man, SVU still going?
Oh my god, yes. It will never end. It never ends. There's just so much money to be made in that.
Is Ice-T still in it?
Yeah, Ice-T's been there from day one, and he's still there. He's not going anywhere. That is his life.
Ice-T got to eat.
Exactly.
And dollar bills.
So we've gotten a little bit stuck on Titan's Return. So we're just going to go to the actual story, which is a new poster.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I like it better than the toy. This mock-up actually, it's got better proportions. I think
it looks wicked. Like I'm not saying that with a hint of irony. Like that looks amazing. Like,
it does look really good. I like it. Yeah.
It does look like he is about to hand Triptychon's ass to him.
Oh yeah, he's
got that stride.
He's bulked up his waist, which is good because that on the toy it's just ridiculous. He's just got this thin little waist.
Well, we said that with Triptychon last week. Had he gone more for a G1 blocky aesthetic than the actual toy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Just looking at that, and it actually kind of calls to mind the animation style of, I think, Energon. I think we might have said this last week as well.
Yeah, definitely.
They actually looked like animated figures on screen, and that's really true when you can see that they've obviously based the animation models off the toys that are out there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It does bring to mind that Energon Armada kind of animated.
Which I kind of enjoyed that because you could see the toys on screen doing stuff. It was like you could actually do this with these toys.
Yeah.
And then they show you how to step-by-step transform them in the transformers and the transformation sequences.
Hey,
so
look,
if you ever use the pamphlet,
it's got to be an educational show in some way, right?
Oh, of course, yes. Hinge moves this.
Well, I totally do dig that thing. Like, I've got a massive collection of Energon Decepticons, and Energon is a pretty sort of average show, but that there is sort of like that gimmick of them just looking exactly like their toy on the screen. Like, it's not lost on me. Like, there's some real appeal to that, especially if companies making this are working with Hasbro to try to, you know, promote their toy sales and stuff, because that's what kids want. They want to actually have a toy that looks like what they're seeing on the screen, you know.
Oh, look, we've wanted that for 30 years, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So before we do move on from Titan's Return, there is one small little piece of news for Combiner Wars, because we have been saying that you can't actually see Combiner Wars everywhere. It has reappeared on Hasbro's YouTube channel finally. So if you are looking for it, you will be able to find it on YouTube.
And Target exclusive versions of The Last Night.
You can find it on the Target US exclusive versions of The Last Night.
No.
Is it on the Australian ones too? Oh,
Apparently.
there we go.
Yep.
I'll tell you why I don't know that and didn't believe it.
Because I said it? Is that why?
No, because I've not been motivated to go to Target and look for The Last Night on DVD or Blu-ray.
Have you been motivated at all to look for Last Night on DVD or any format?
No.
Looking at the run sheets for new acquisitions for the last 6 weeks, no one's been keen to get it.
That's true.
I think we have, but we just haven't talked about it, because I've got it. But I just didn't,
I haven't yet.
want to tell anyone.
Yeah, I've got it, but that's opening a can of worms in the group that you don't want to. I mean, I'm happy to got it. I'm proud to own it, but I just know that anytime anybody posts anything about that movie in the group, it's like a feeding frenzy on a shark documentary. You know, like it's.
I have to say, I purposely posted that fake Dora the Explorer poster a couple of weeks ago, because one of my friends showed it to me at breakfast, and I was just like, send it to me. And I posted it within the group, and like within about 5 minutes, like there'd been all these people posting things like, I can't stand it, blah, blah, blah. This is going to be the worst ever. And I've just gone back to my mate. I'm like, yes. I have posted it in the group, and they are already consuming each other with hatred.
It's amazing that they think that they can bring something like Dora the Explorer to them. Michael
Bay is in talks to bring Dora the Explorer to the big screen.
That's legitimate.
It is legitimate.
Starring Megan Fox.
It should totally be starring Megan Fox, simply because it's just like, whatever.
I don't believe that for a minute. How is that even
it's true. Thing? It's true. You can. You know what? You can Google it. I think I'm going to say this about every news story to you tonight.
She recently come out in an interview saying how she regrets being booted off the off Dark of the Moon. So she might be looking to get back in.
Maybe if Megan Fox wanted to be in Dark of the Moon, she shouldn't have shat all over Michael Bay after they released Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah, I know. Called him Hitler, because that was the thing that got him done. That was the thing. Him and Spielberg were just like, nah, we're not having that. And
it's funny that you call your employer Hitler. It's kind of expected. Not going to get another job with him, you know.
Obviously, you're calling him like.
I'm sorry. You meant that as a compliment. Please come back and
I love your facial hair. It kind of gives that vibe.
No, it's Charlie Chaplin. Totally.
Yes, but no, you're not gonna. If someone has that kind of heritage and you call them that, you know, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be working with them likely ever again. But apparently she is, so that's screwed up in a weird way.
Yeah, and she's such an intellectual powerhouse too. So what a shame.
I know.
Right? I mean, she's done such great. You know, the fact that Zombie Strippers didn't get an Oscar nomination. Like, was she in Zombie Strippers? I don't know. That seems
probably not.
Did she do Warm Bodies?
She did something weird. No, I know. Somebody's body. It's.
I just said Warm Bodies.
Not
Metroplex's body.
Metroplex's body. Jennifer's body, I think. Is that a thing? Jennifer's body, or
maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yes.
Yeah,
no, you're right.
So.
She did.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah,
with,
away.
Yeah, I think we've sidetracked a little bit here.
just a little bit. We need to mock something else. Okay. Bring the full comedic power of the Transformers Weekly podcast to bear on Power of the Primes Starscream.
Do you know what though? I think this is.
Was that the best we could do?
I was
Like
going
a raspberry and an impression of it sounded like Bugs Bunny.
No, that's what he does.
Yeah, but that's
What?
all, folks.
What's her name? Olive
oil.
Olive oil. Yeah.
And then what was the big douchebag's name?
Bluto.
Pluto.
Pluto, yeah.
You were such a kid, Mikey. You were such a young little kid.
I've seen them. I've seen a lot of Popeye, but like, God, this is just. What were they thinking? I mean,
can I?
Okay,
Yeah,
they
sorry.
wouldn't be making a Popeye like cross.
Can we have a repaint?
Thing.
I would love a repaint into Popeye. That would be.
Do you know the worst part about this thing for me is that I buy a lot of the kids Transformers stuff for my son, being he's 5 years old. So
He's not chunkier than a kid's Transformer.
Well, the thing is, I bought him one of those. God, I wish I could remember what they're called. They're like Smash Masters or something stupid, but they're like Transformers. Yeah, no, they're Transformers, and you can pull Hero Mashers. That's it. You can pull their arms and legs off in that, and he's got the Starscream one. And I swear to God, it looks exactly like this.
They probably just recycled it.
They didn't do
it's the same thing. Okay? Like, it's horrible.
I mean,
I can't look at it.
It's pretty bad. Like, I mean, I don't know. For some reason, having those giant feet there kind of make it look a bit better somehow.
Yeah, it's the proportions, man. It's way out of proportion.
I'm going to make it look better. Jet mode, not bad.
Yeah, not bad. But it's still going to be very jet fiery. You know, there's going to be all those huge appendages under that jet, unfortunately.
So I kind of feel like they can't do jets anymore without them just having like a shitload of kibble
just
underneath
screwing it up.
That's nothing's been updated engineering wise since the first movie Starscream. Like that's perfectly the first movie Starscream right there.
Oh
what?
Wow,
But
pretty much.
Oh, you mean the jet mode, right?
The design.
Yeah.
I get that he's a combiner, right? Well, supposedly.
Which we have yet to see yet.
Which we have yet to see. But I mean, if you look at I'll always preach about how awesome the Chug Seekers were.
Oh, they're perfect.
I think Hasbro nailed the design right then and there. And to go from like that to this, I know he's a combiner, but this is just I don't know. It's engineering wise. It looks like they're back in prehistoric times.
Because they've released 30 of them, they can't release any more.
That's the thing. You get one, you've got a million more to come out. So,
and what's with Jason, the really basic stickers on his. Jet?
Oh yeah! Look at all the stickers. Yeah, look at all the stickers.
Those are going to peel off. They're going to peel off easy.
It's like G1 level,
even worse actually.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get some good old repro labels up on that. But
so none of us.
That's
particularly feeling it.
Yeah, I think that's a general consensus. Though I haven't heard anybody raving about him.
No.
One other. So before we move on, because we are going to move on, one other piece of news for Power of the Primes is that some pre-orders are starting to appear with delivery dates sometime in December. And maybe sometime in January, depending on the retailer. But if you are excited about every other figure in Wave 1 of Power of the Primes except for this guy, feel free to be. And head on over to your online retailer of choice, and you should be able to get out a bit of a pre-order and hopefully save a little bit of money.
I think it was in Singapore.
Or if you shop Malaysia, he'll be out. It was before Christmas.
It was Malaysia, which, as if you scroll down, we got and these guys are available in December. It doesn't say before Christmas.
Give me that Prime. I want that. Oh my gosh! Look at the cab. It kind of looks like Energon Optimus Prime a bit. Just the cab, like if you compare it to the Energon Optimus Prime cab, it kind of looks like that. Which is odd.
I'm really looking forward to that Unicron hot rod.
Yes, you can't like you can't like these two because they're Autobots. Sorry.
That's right. Yeah.
I can still like Autobots. I can still appreciate them, but I can't buy them and enjoy them on my shelf. So, because of my own weird.
You're going to get
rules. Well, I don't know. I sort of reckon that I can get away with getting that Nemesis hot rod. He's very Decepticon-y and he's Unicron-y, and I've got a Unicron. So that's the links. That's my justification for it. I'm gonna make it happen. But he looks awesome, and I love the fact that his standard version combines with the trailer to make like a massive version of him, which I think is a cool gimmick. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
nah,
I don't mind the
it's
evolution
gonna be
gimmick for the
really
leader
cool
class
gimmick.
figures here.
Yep.
well, let's be
Unique, I
fair.
like it.
Like leader class, you pay enough for leader class that, I mean, it's one step away from MP. Well, at least some of them are. Like you're looking at like 6-shot and stuff like that. Like they're brilliant, but you kind of want something more for what you're paying for him. Like I paid $90 for 6-shot. Like I want him to be pretty
Overlord
special.
Overlord seems a bit basic for a leader class. I reckon they should have made him probably a Voyager because, like, I don't know. I just think he's.
I
That's
just
like
reckon
the combinable
they
Seekers.
shouldn't. Sorry,
Like
Brad.
the combinable Seekers were pretty basic redos of Jetfire.
Yeah, I guess. Fair enough.
Yeah, I didn't touch them. They don't look seekery enough. I don't think they're bad, but yeah, I've got too many seekers anyway.
Yeah.
Jason doesn't like him. No, not Jason. Sorry, John. John actually blew one up. That was fun. I watched that.
No, that was Jetfire. That was famously
but it's
Jetfire.
that's the mold though. That's the same mold.
Yeah.
And he's just reposted in the group too.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I saw it. Just like, yeah.
Thanks, Facebook memories.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to this dude.
Ooh, he's good looking.
So Takara has, I think, accidentally let slip some of the artwork for their Legends Grand Maximus figure, and is it Brave Max as well? I'm not entirely sure.
Great shot.
No, this guy's
Great shot. Yes, that's the one. Sorry. So Grand Maximus and Great Shot, they have reached the 2,000 pre-order point in order to send them into production, but they have not reached the 3,000 pre-order point, which is required for this little Pretender shell over here. So that will not be produced. Instead, they will just they will be producing the figures as originally advertised.
Sad face.
Can someone tell me what that little thing's supposed to be?
So
Who, I should say.
Does anyone else see it know, or am I going to have to explain it?
You can go ahead.
Okay. With Grand Max, the actual headmaster, so like the Cerebros, came with its own Pretender shell, and that's basically just evoking that. So you'd have like the Emissary dude, and then you'd go on top of like the Cerebros dude, and then they could just fold up and then go into this shell, which it kind of evokes, kind of not. But yeah, that's just what it's supposed to evoke. That very, very, like if you're looking at it on the secondary market, that is a super expensive shell, because you can find a Grand Max, but very rarely will you actually ever find the shell that has the comes with it. It's
Can anyone else see a Last Night Dinobot flip changer in that design?
In what the Pretender shell?
That looks like a little Grimlock flip changer.
Well, again, Brad, that's just those little Target Master things that are coming about.
It's just a lack of articulation. I think anything.
Oh, so it's not
They
remolded
do-
the original.
They're this size. So
Yeah, but it's not remolded the original. It's something new.
of the original what?
Target
The
Master
original shell.
shell.
Oh no, the shell encompassed the huge the big head.
All right.
So the shell was actually the size, probably a bit bigger than actually the other Pretenders. But yeah, that
and
thing,
you can't turn that into a head then. Like
you can't turn the
like-
shell into a head, but then you can take the
it's
head
like
out.
a separate sort of gimmick, isn't it? It's like
it's just an extra thing that the Japanese version had over ours, over the the big basic
what
release.
series was Grand Max in? Was it
I don't know.
I think it might have been.
Why don't you know, Mikey?
I know it's difficult.
Super God Master Force.
It's one of those.
Sure, let's go with that.
Super fun, happy time Master Force. But this
I've actually
I
watched all those series, and even I don't know. I've lost track.
it's hard to keep up with that stuff sometimes. But this is a nice paint scheme. It's pretty
It's just
much
interesting.
the reverse of. I'm looking at Fort Max right now. It's pretty much the reverse of his colors.
It kind of is, isn't it? And a little bit darker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
edgy.
Am I getting confused, or is Grand Max according to the Japanese, is he the younger brother of Fortress Maximus or son?
Something like that. They've got like weird
Yeah,
stuff
they're
like that.
they're relatives. They're like supposed
Yeah.
to be actually
His brothers,
related.
cousins, second sisters,
Roommate.
Their roommate
Yeah.
Yeah.
in college.
Yeah, and they studied chemistry together. And then they made Breaking Bad. I don't know. But yeah, this is expensive, but I think if you're into like that line, especially to go with the six changer that's coming out with it, the Great Shot. I mean that in itself, Great Shot's awesome because his wolf head is actually been turned into a rhinoceros head. So it actually has the head, and then the rhino horn comes out. And I've got to say, I love this art. The art is just really cool. G1.
The artwork is very. It does evoke the G1 box art very well.
Well, I've heard some people complain that it's just another. They're milking the six-shot mold and stuff. But if you know the lore, the interesting thing about this character is that him and Six Shot and another guy called Six Knight.
Yep.
In the Japanese cartoons, they're actually, even though some of them are Autobots, some of them are Decepticons, they're actually all members of this sort of like secretive ninja clan that's like six changers only. So every member of this clan are all six changers, but
the 666 Club.
Yeah, well, they're actually called the Six Clan.
Close enough.
Yeah, but
you don't want to be a member of that clan in New Zealand.
The Sex Clan. Oh wow.
Clan, bro.
Thank you for saying it out loud, Mikey.
That's what I'm here for, mate.
Point being is that people who sort of like the more obscure, especially sort of like Japanese sort of underground-y kind of Transformer stuff, they've been waiting for Great Shot for a while, and a lot of them have got their fingers crossed about a Six Knight retool as well. So,
man, I don't. Yeah. If they're doing this, they have to.
Well, they did Quick Switch, and in the cartoons, he's the son of Six Shot. So I don't even know how.
But he's a new mold. I wouldn't. But he's already out in the box sets, actually, isn't he?
Yeah, he's basically a really awful repaint. It looks like somebody's vomited.
Oh, it's gross. Yeah, it's a horrible. It's one of the worst color schemes ever. No wonder he got rid of his son and then he defected to the Autobots. Like obviously the colorblind Autobot that let him in.
What is it like?
Hey! Alpha Trion's very old. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
And he's got a metal beard.
Exactly. So you can't deny him. But even then, I wouldn't mind if they were to like dull down the tones of that color to actually make a sixth. Hold on, what's his name? The Autobot guy again. Sorry.
Six Knight.
Quick Switch, I think.
Quick Switch. Yeah.
Because he was his own mold. He wasn't Six Shot.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't actually.
I thought Quick Switch was a repaint of. It was a repaint of someone.
No, the Titans Return one is a very minor retool of the Leader Class Six Shot, but the original G1 was its own.
Right, the G1.
And it was
the G1 was
utter garbage.
Yeah. I loved it.
He was so bad. He turned into a boat and stuff. Like, it was just terrible.
How many Transformers have six modes, and one of them includes being a boat?
One
submarine.
The other one has far superior everything. Actually, does RID Megatron? Right. Okay.
Before we go, there is one interesting thing here. We finally have our first repaint of a Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More
about
Titans in Titans Return.
We held out for Metroplex, and now we held out for Devastator, and now Fort Max is the one that's getting repaint.
If you can just think of it, we've got a potential repaint for Metroplex, Metro Titan, Fort Max, Grand, and Brave Max. So you got 3 out of that. Trypticon, you've got are
you sorting out the next 20 years of Titans releases?
Yeah, I'm just saying they haven't done it, and they've only started now, which surprises me. And then Devastator, G2 Devastator, and that's already like so many more Titans that we could have had. And
we would have bought.
And everyone would have bought. I would have bought a Metro Titan in a heartbeat.
It gets sticky with Gigastorm though, because he's technically Beast Wars. So, but so it's Optimus Primal. So
all you have to do is give him a mohawk, and that's I love that part of it.
But is possibly the fact they didn't get to 3,000 a sign that maybe not everyone wants repaints of the Titans?
Yeah, or can afford them.
I do think also this is actually the second time in the last 6 months that Takara Tomy has proposed something if they reach a certain pre-order level and not made it.
What was the first?
I have a feeling that the first one was something to do with Metroplex. Actually, It was like
wasn't that
3 or 4
reissue?
months ago.
And then they didn't do it.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, it was a reissue, and they didn't do
And
it.
they didn't do it. No, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, what got it?
All right, let's move on. We have a few more stories to cover before we get to the good stuff. Dr. Wu has an upgrade kit for MP36 Megatron that includes a little reflector camera so that you can do a rendition of the Killing Joke. A little binocular viewfinder thing that does it change color or is it separate?
No, there's two sets.
We won't know. This bloody awesome looking sword.
Oh, it's his G1.
And a shit looking bot. They should have just
Brad.
showed the sword.
Brad,
That looks disgusting.
Brad,
Why does it look disgusting?
Brad, literally no one gives a shit.
I know. That looks shit ass.
And they've also brought out this little base called Home, which those of us who like to take photos of our toys often look for some kind of a backdrop on which to put them.
I'm actually legit excited about this one. This looks amazing.
Well, I have a little bit of bad news for you. Yeah, I'm legit excited about this because it's tiny.
Your bots are shoe models.
Yeah. Basically, you're going to get a foot.
I've got plenty of tiny bots, you know what I mean? But what I'm looking at though is if you look at the way that they
Connect.
it snaps together.
Oh yeah,
It looks like if you get a couple of them, you can make it bigger. You know what I mean? Like,
it does look that. It does look like that, doesn't it?
Mm.
I
I just think it's cool. We need more stuff like that for
You can
collectors.
make the
who
display
like
great again.
Mm.
I wonder how you
And
go when
Hasbro
there's 40
needs
of
to.
them.
you know what? I love this display. This display is tremendous. It's great. You might say it's
great.
tiny.
China will love it.
I say if you say this display is too small, I say you're fake news.
No, fake news. Hillary,
Could've
get out
said
of here. This is the best thing ever.
But they got the same dust problems as I do.
Oh my God, don't talk about dust. Oh, dust. I hate dust. Sydney is like the capital for the bloody dust.
But even if you go to the next
ever since
photo,
that dust storm from a few years ago too.
see,
Yeah,
like
that's
that where
true.
it's standing upright.
That's
This reminds me of having seen how it looks when it's like just flat on the ground. This reminds me of that full frontal skit where they kept rotating the set on Sean McAuliffe.
Oh, David McGann's world.
Yeah. Bumblebee is David McGann.
I understood that reference.
Thanks, Kat.
Once again, Mikey looks out in space.
I'm just agreeing with everything you're saying because I'm happy to be here. Actually, what this just reminded me of was that G1 episode where that big old fat dude captured all the Autobots and made them do like they trapped them in those weird capture remember what's his name, Lord Chumley or something?
That was the big white hunter.
Yeah, Hunter Chumley or something. And
he wanted Prime's head on the wall.
Yeah. And then Bumblebee's one was the best one, but just reminded me of that because he's like there was an axe swinging and he had to transform because like they were swinging both ways and he just had to keep transforming, but like he could have like simply rolled away, but he just kept transforming in the one position just to miss the axes. G1 had some great episodes in it.
Gotta love season 3.
Honestly, that I would buy that for sure. I'd buy a couple of them just because it's like I think Hasbro should bring back when they used to make the bases and stuff. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I'd lap that stuff up. Hey,
did Hasbro actually make the bases?
Yeah, they're like mainly cardboard. Like they look pretty.
Oh,
bad.
the mail away ones, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but like stuff like that. I like as long as if you could modernize that and make it plastic and like stuff like that. I'd buy that for sure.
Repro Labels does a version of that actually. They're like little diorama type things. They're made out of cardboard, but you can actually get some cool Transformers ones. So
yeah, right.
If you want to look into that, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Question. How much is this going to be?
What's the next
Probably
thing?
like
That's
too
a good
much.
one. Mm.
Yeah, it's probably going to be something stupid like
Dr.
$50 or
Wu
something.
is a little bit pricey because I
Yeah,
think
they
he's
are.
like mainly a guy. I don't know, but
Mainly a guy, like not
mainly,
partially
he's
a guy.
half guy. He's actually 3/4.
He's
I don't
half
know.
guy, half Minotaur. Okay.
Yeah, he's
half
he's got weird.
Wu-Tang.
Yeah, half third. Yeah, Wu-Tang.
But when you can,
That's why he's
When you
only
can buy-
Doctor Wu.
Yeah,
when you can buy the same set or the same design set, but twice the size from the chain metal base sets from Gundam for $25, then
Yeah,
this is
good
going to
point.
price them right out.
Yeah.
And not to put too fine upon it, but you can also get the KOs of the chain.
Yeah, there's a lot of other
chain-based
options
things.
on you.
Well,
But
to be fair to Doctor Wu though, it just depends what you're buying. Like I know they're sort of known for being a little bit pricey, but their upgrade kits aren't that pricey. You know, like I said earlier, I got one for 6-shot recently. That was like $20, and it like totally upgrades the figure.
Changed your life.
It rocked his world.
It gave him
Can we just
swords,
look at
man.
the-
It gave him swords.
Can we just look at what we're getting in the Megatron set? Can we just go to that picture?
We can.
Yeah. What don't you like about this, Brad?
Brad doesn't.
Oh, no,
like
this is
Masterpiece
fine.
Megatron.
It's the way the Megatron's
Oh,
posed
right. I thought
before.
you were just hating on the sword. I'm just like, what is that I hate about the sword?
No, this is fine.
Yeah, that is the G1 sword, like the G1 toy sword, just done right, and it's so cool. It's like so stabby, death, and I want it. So, and then the camera, that's a perfect little reflector thing, and then
So in actual fact, do you have to choose which set you want?
I wouldn't know because they're both so cool. Like that's death metal.
I think you do.
I want the purple one. Yeah, true.
Well, they're still both P38.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, why
Buy
not?
2 of them.
How cheap are they? Why not just put both of them in? You know, like,
Why not?
you're just buying a couple of pieces of plastic. Like.
Can I also just point out I'm very amused by this. The flame effect. How they've got all these embers and stuff. Just watch when I change images. Just like lock your eye onto a piece of it. It's the same effect on every image.
It's the same thing everywhere.
Same thing, right? Every
My
image
camera's
has
on fire.
The same
Shit,
filter.
Guys.
It's the same
What do you
filter,
want from these people, Jason?
I love that. That's so cool.
I demand different spacing on the embers.
I would just like them to, I don't know, if they're going to put the effect on, maybe just commit to it.
Shit reflector. These pics are too hot. Transform already. Jeez.
I think it's foreshadowing a volcanic eruption.
Yeah. It kind of looks like, you know, you shouldn't be standing there holding a camera.
Maybe Megatron just did a weird fart, and then there's just all these like embers going everywhere.
I wonder if this person works for Universal.
I wonder if this person works for Michael Bay, and then this is just the aftermath.
No, if it was Michael Bay, like Megatron would be in mid-explosion right now, like just being blown to pieces.
Speaking of Michael Bay.
Oh, goody.
Look at this. It's Alien Attack. It's a toy for future. This is Alien Attack STF-02, which implies somewhere there's STF-01. El Cid, which is an Age of Extinction of Last Night Optimus Prime, although he's sort of got a weird chest design if he's meant to be Optimus Prime. And a lot of things just don't really match up.
01 is that Dark of the Moon Dino. So this is their second movie. We were talking last week about how good it is that third parties sort of going in and doing some of these movie designs. This one.
What's really wrong with this one? What's wrong?
It looks a lot cheaper.
It's just stacking it up against that Unique Toys one. It's like
true.
I know the Unique Toys one didn't have color, but I mean, it was just so perfect that coming to this, it's like it just seems like it's not bad. It just seems like it's nowhere near as good as the other one. You know, like
what's wrong with his faceplate?
Option.
Looks like he's got a little cat mouth.
Maybe he's.
Is there a face? Is there a face shot? Production?
I think they're hiding it. Maybe they're guy that controls the entire podcast. Can you please do something? Oh, you're gone. Okay. Oh, that sucks.
The chest looks real wide and flat. It just screams like the lead of Class 1 how it's just all one
really
piece.
Weirdly placed. His boobs are too high.
Yeah, it's weird because almost everything else is movie accurate except the chest, and it's like one of the main focal points. Like, yeah, it throws the whole figure off because it's just kind of like, hey, look how cool this looks, and then what's going on there? Like,
even the exhaust stacks with that curve in them, like
they're not supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, his face is a bit weird. There you go. Hi, Bumblebee.
Yeah.
There you go.
It is nitpicking, but I mean, at the same time, it's like I can't imagine it would be cheap, would it? Like,
I mean, seeing as Thirage is only $80 shipped. methinks this guy isn't going to be over or too much over 100. So,
but that's deluxe size, isn't it? Or is it late?
Dirage. He's
Voyager,
pretty much
yeah.
Bumblebee size. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I think we can probably all agree that even though this has the colors, the unique toy one is winning. And I mean, I've seen a review of Peru Kill, their lockdown, and that thing's just out of perfection. There's no doubt about that. And I'm getting that thing. Like I started collecting movie again. I'm just like, no, and then I sold it. But I'm starting like just third party movie because like.
Well, that thing, it was the fact that they've got his mask that comes down. That to me, I was like,
you've got the mask. It doesn't come down. It's a separate piece. But I mean.
Yeah. Well, when I mean, metaphorically,
because like the mask is so cool. Like I've always loved the big old green face, and then you got Gunface, you got his hook. So many accessories that the deluxe didn't come with. The deluxe is just a pitiful.
Oh, I had him and immediately gave him to my son, which is now like it's living in the bottom of the toy box. So
it's not a good figure. So
I am for your son because he's an Autobot.
But it's still with the lack of kibble on it, and it's still got to transform. There's no photos here of the alt mode, so
no. But again, I'm surprised. Like, okay, so when the actual first images years ago, whenever we had our first images of just the truck mode from Age of Extinction came out, I'm just like, what the hell is this thing? I hate this truck design. Now I love this truck design because I'm
it is pretty cool.
You just come to love it. I'm just like, how does that thing with that sculpting and stuff turn into that truck? And like, we could never get an official toy that looked any good because they're all just shell formers. And I mean, this, in all honesty, this is leaps and bounds better than anything that Hasbro's released in regards to this version of Optimus Prime.
It actually boggles my mind how they've engineered it, like how they turned something that's basically human sized and shaped, like relatively
proportion, no kibble.
Into a truck. Like it's actually a feat of engineering, and considering that Hasbro and the official side of things haven't been able to do that.
Never do it exactly.
Yeah,
so I mean, this is probably what like the MPM will look like, because like the MPM's kind of good but not the best, and then you've got Unique Toys who are just killing it with these movie designs. So yeah, I'm not.
That's the problem. If this was the only one, it'd be fine. But because there's a better one,
everyone would be gushing over it. Yeah, I mean, comparing it to the other thing,
they just picked a bad time to release it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's like the wars. It's the Devastator Wars. It's the Predator Wars. Hopefully we don't have another company.
It forces collectors to be way more ruthless than they normally would. Like, because most people would be like, "Yeah, that's sweet, I'll get that," But when there's a choice and one choice is slightly better than the other, or one choice is way better than another, then what are you going to do?
Yep.
But I mean, that's a cool pose. So,
I note that they don't actually show him doing the fist on the ground pose. So I don't know. Maybe he can't do it.
Look at 04.
Is there? Oh yeah, you're right.
Jason,
but he's
research.
He's not facing forward. He's meant to do it facing forward.
Yeah,
which it looks like he'd be able to. Yeah, it looks like he'd be able to do it too. Like you only got to pivot the torso for anyway. Yeah.
All right. You get up in there and you fondle that figure.
Hey, me young fell down in his Metroplex suit and blew the seams out of it doing it, but I got to find that photo.
Oh no, poor thing.
All right, let's move on. We have one more news story, and then we've made it through to the end of the news. Zeta Toys has shown off their first look at their masterpiece-styled Superion. Now, as you can tell, it does look a little bit symmetrical. They haven't actually finished all of the limbs off yet, but you can still see. You can see the body design coming together, very, very, very G1 style, and you can see the arms. And I got to say, like for a combiner, the arm design looks really good, and the legs seem to just be sort of a big, solid piece, which is kind of fitting with the G1 combiner style, really.
Yeah, I guess. So it
reminds me of the Mega.
I kind of think when I look at this, I think like guys like. You haven't even finished the prototype. Like, what are you showing us here? Like, this is no way near what it's going to be looking like. They
have to attract interest so that they can release one figure and sell it to fund the next one.
I get that, but I mean, what are we looking at here? It's like...
I guess size.
This is nothing to me, size, I guess, comparison.
There is no comparison there. There's nothing...
Oh, there's a person behind there, so if you can roughly...
Yeah, but it starts at their torso, but...
I don't know. But so like,
but you get what I mean, eh? Like it's. We're really not looking at anything here. It may as well be a drawing, like you know.
I think there's a little bit more than nothing here to look at. I mean, like we've got a prototype of the body, and you can see what the limbs will look like. Obviously, the other limbs will look slightly different, but you can see what they're going for.
Yeah, but like I think with the cabinet, there are actually other figures there, so you probably get a better. They didn't take any photos of the other figures, like see in the background.
They should have just stood a dude at his feet.
Yeah,
you know,
like a Hasbro dude, not like body. But yeah, so their 2 jets are complete. So they've got I'm horrible. I know Silverbolt. That's it. Silverbolt's the big dude. So the red plane and the black plane dude are actually like near, production, but they're just showing off the Silverbolt torso, and they haven't shown us the other 2 jets yet. So I guess they wanted to show how maybe imposing he's going to be in your collection, how tall. Again, yeah, I agree. Like with the comparisons always help because at least we, like the other people who were at whatever convention this was. What were we? What was this one?
Not sure.
No. Well, wherever this was, I mean, people will have a better idea, obviously being there with it. But yeah, it's not my cup of tea.
The plane names you're looking for is Airstrike and Fireflight.
Okay, Air Raid.
There we go.
Air Raid. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, they're right. Okay. Yeah, no, I know every other combiner team and all their names. I just always screw up the aerobots because they're just all planes.
Does anyone else see Superior in this at all, apart from the planes on his shoulders? I don't recognize that.
That's kind of what I was trying to say before.
I don't like the head.
I don't know what I'm looking at there, and I know what Superior looks like, and I kind of get a vague ghost of what they're trying to say with it, but it just, to me, it's not enough.
Head. The head doesn't do it for me.
The head doesn't. The chest doesn't.
The chest looks a bit,
Well, I think the only if you got some color on that, I think you'd be a little bit more.
The only key indicator for me is that he's got jet arms like that.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that says this may be Superior on one day. Like,
one day. Yeah, I mean, there's a market for it, but again, I'm happy with the only big combiner I've got back there, and I'm just sick. I've just grown tired of all these combiner, like not combiner wars, the Hasbro thing, like the wars of literally, we need to have a new combiner out every single day, or the bloody world's gonna end, And I've just said I'm getting my Toy World Devastator because I love that thing, and that's it. No more combiners.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait and see what the Toy World Bruticus and Superior on.
If they impress me as much as they've impressed me with Devastator, maybe.
Yeah.
There's also the thing of room because those things are Titan class size.
Well, I can't lie. I think the gimmick, it hasn't worn off for me yet. Like I mean, I even bought the Robots in Disguise Galvatronus the other day, on a whim.
That's cool because it's an original thing,
yeah, that's it. Like if it's a cool combiner, I'll get it. It's not I don't go like
those things are so overpriced though, aren't they? It wasn't $100.
Yeah. They are, and they're probably not worth it, but I still like it. I got no regrets.
They're cool. They're great for kids. They're the perfect kids demographic thing. But
well, I've got a couple of others. I posted in the group the other day a photo, where I've got a couple of like mini combiners. Like they're like Voyager sized compared to a Chug, but like the gimmick there is that they're just cool. Like I got Infernicus and Bomb Shock and all these sort of things. Great. Yeah, but the novelty hasn't worn off for me. And I think Hasbro and the third-party companies and all that, part of me, they know that, and they're still trying to milk it. So.
Well, I mean, it's a great thing because then it's just, the Hasbro gets more sales of figures because kids want more of their figures to come in and make bigger figures. So that's just
you can't just get one of Bruticus.
You can't just get one combiner.
Yeah,
no, you can't just get on Onslaught or Brawl and just say, I'm done.
Yeah.
You've got to get them all. You got to make Bruticus.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just when I was younger.
Effective technique.
Yeah, when I was younger, they did these little Lego sets, these little the Bionicle sets, and then little the smaller ones, and then if you bought them all, you actually could make the bigger monstrosity, Bionicle, and basically I had to get this was back years ago whenever you did those tests where it's just you've got to write words that just
I have no idea where this story's going.
Anyway, you're right.
That was called school.
Yeah, school. Spelling and shit. Anyway, if I got 100%, I got a little barnacle set, and then I like got 6 in a row. So then I got them all, and I put them together, and just like, yeah, I accomplished it. So like that's obviously the thing there. But with this, it's just like bye $1,000 if you want this set.
So are you saying you want someone to bribe you with the Superion to do your homework?
Oh, I don't do my homework in general. Nothing would really make me do that.
Well, I see it as something like if you've got a Superion and you like this more, you will want to replace it, so you'll get this. Or it's for people like I've got 6 Bruticus's. I've got 6 different kinds.
Bruticae.
Actually, sorry, no. Bruticus's is the correct plural form.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love it.
Yeah, like, thanks, Kelvin. but my point being is that there's going to be fans out there who love Superion, and they've got to have every version of him, so they'll snap it up straight away.
God, if there's a fan out there that collects all of these bloody combiners, you have got to have sold your house by now.
Yeah,
that's half the group, isn't it?
Yeah,
you can't buy all of them. There's too many. The first party's fine because they're $100 each in a nice little box set. You get them all, you get all your parts. With this, you pay $1,000 plus postage. You get it.
Usually the third party combiners seem to be closer to 600.
Yeah, but I mean,
they're about $100 each for the bot for each limb,
compared to $100 for a set. But
yeah, no. A combiner would be roughly about $100 or just
exactly.
Over,
Even well, if you're collecting them and on like just like individually, how much is a deluxe nowadays? $20.
$30. Yeah.
$30. That's ridiculous.
It's been like that for a while, man.
It was 187. There was 187 to buy all 6 spots to do the combiners back in the day.
Yeah.
And that's not bad, but like.
And it was about 180 for the gift set.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, well, I think I got like the combiners at store for $25 each. So you've got your 4 limbs there for $100, and then your $50 bloody Voyager or $40 Voyager. So $140 will get you your combiner.
Plus your $19 Legends figure for your chest or gun.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into that. Shockwave's great. Shockwave's great whenever you can get him at the reject shop for $10. But yeah, it's just I don't think there would be a single person out there who has collected all of these third-party combiners, because I mean the amount of Superions, Bruticus's, Devastators is the worst.
I reckon you'll find there might be a few super fans.
Yeah, I assure you, Mikey, they'll be out there.
I feel sorry for them.
Shall we wind up the news?
Yep.
Let's wind up the news. And maybe bring us back to cameras. Thank you for the wind up there, Chris. Now it is that part of the show, having finished the news, where we talk about new acquisitions. Now, Brad, you've filled in nil.
Yes, my order I thought I ordered was just a lay-by, so nothing come in the mail this week.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. So
does this mean you have more to pay on it than you thought you did as well?
No, I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, I have more to pay on my lay-by, and I'll get them off in the next couple of weeks.
Fair enough. Mikey.
Yes.
You've got some figures that I believe I've got sitting in front of me as well.
Oh, cool. We can be figure buddies. Figure buddies. Figure buddies.
God.
hey, look, what happens at Supernova?
Exactly. Okay, starting off with this. And probably you got him from our friendly supplier, Joel Friedman. So this first guy, I've only opened these 3 first, and I've got another one coming next week because I'd like to savor the thing.
Did you get Backlink as well?
I wanted to, but he didn't find. He lost his connection for that one, which sucks because I really wanted
fair enough.
Did you get him?
I do. Yeah, I got him probably a couple of months ago, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to give him to me, you can always do that.
Probably not.
Okay, well, I'll come and take him by force. Anyway, so I have here Bad Cubes Brawny, and so I wanted to talk about just Bad Cubes QC a bit, because whenever you actually open a Bad Cube figure, it's really weird. You open it up and you just feel like
packaged in bags.
Sorry?
I like that they're packaged in bags. I don't like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so they've got bags over the actual things, which is odd, but you know. Whenever you open, you just feel like it's just a bit flimsy, and it's like there's some hollowy bits, but like you just feel like this is going to break eventually, and it never does. It's just like it's this weird plastic, but it always makes you nervous whenever you open these figures, which is odd. But anyway, they're sturdy as anything. Only minor complaint I have about this guy is he's got two interchangeable faces, and one of them they fall off a bit too easy. But the transformation on him is quite fun, a lot better than their Swerve, because their Swerve has a little bit of a weird transformation point. It's quite annoying. But in this guy's really straightforward. Comes with a really cool gun, can mount in the vehicle mode, which is awesome.
That cannon is amazing.
Yeah, it looks like bloody Megatron's fusion cannon, really.
I was going to say that.
And can I just have a look at Jason's one? Is there two versions of this guy? Because I thought there might be.
Don't think so. He's pretty much the same. There you go.
No, okay, right, okay. But yeah, I love. There's actually like a there's like this thing that you attach to the back. It splits off and then becomes car fillers. So they're like one of those water bottle type things, and they become car fillers, and they actually house the gun as well, which is really cool. So it's kind of a little bit of parts forming, but it's done right. And yeah, he's just a really good looking, solid little figure. It's got the back plate thing, which I love how they keep really G1 having the back section there. And yeah, he's just an angry old man like he was in the show. And yeah,
he looks straight up out of the cartoon. It's pretty
exactly, and that's why I love Bad Cube. What they're doing with their mini bots. He looks like the angry little squat man, and I'm happy about that.
Can I just bring up Backland as well? Like Backland's he's kind of the opposite. So he has quite an obvious smile on his face too.
He's Australian. He's the Australian of the bunch.
He's just happy to be involved, right? But the thing that I like about them is that they both actually transform in the same way, but they end up with a different. They end up with a different figure.
Yes,
pretty much like the show.
Exactly what I want to say about these two. So the thing that I love about these Bad Cube things as well, they make the characters, and then these two are pretty much the exact same mold, but they make it that you can transform them differently. I mean, for these two, so this is Huffer, or as they call Huff, and then Piper Pipes.
I can do the vehicle mode.
Vehicle mode.
I haven't bothered transforming.
It's amazing because they're basically the same mold, the same engineering, except you transform them a bit differently, and then the cabs are done a bit differently, and that's awesome. It's also the same with, again, Brawn and Outback. They're pretty much the exact same thing, but they've engineered it so that they transform a bit differently and make it more cartoon accurate. Because you had Huffer here, who had more of the hood design and like hanging off like that, whereas Pipes had pretty much like the back there, and he had the whole thing hanging off his back. So he has it here, but because it's so hollow, he's like really stable. Like if you look at that, he's standing on my hand, and he's really, really stable. They both come with alternate. They come with alternate faceplates. Pipes just uses his weapons here. Huffer comes with another really big gun, and yeah, these two, I really, really do enjoy Bad Cube, and like they still have that weird, like the plastic feels cheap, and like it feels a little bit cheap and nasty, but once you actually just get used to it, it's actually it's fine. Nothing's broken on me, and yeah, I really like the offerings from Bad Cube so far, and yeah, really happy to start the mini. I've started my mini bots collection, and
I still think they did the best ever Insecticons.
Yeah, I've got those guys are up there. I love my Bad Cube Insecticons. I got the 3-pack ages ago, and I mean I've fiddled with Jason's, and I'll stop right there. I've fiddled with Jason's fans toys Insecticons, but and they're great. Like, there's no doubt they're all die cast. They're really posable. They're really awesome. But I love the simplicity of the Bad Cube ones, and they're just and they're really affordable. They're much more affordable than the fans toys ones.
Bad Cube seem to specialize in that G1 accuracy.
Yeah, the more of the cartoon accuracy.
Yeah. They really sort of lock into that market. Like,
and they're really. Sorry.
The Bad Cube ones come. Did the Bad Cube ones come in a 3-pack, or are they individually sold?
So they had a 3-pack of just them, and then they sold the individual ones with diecast in them, and that's pretty much it.
Oh yeah.
And then they sold a clear weird version for some reason. But yeah, Bad Cube is slowly becoming one of my favorite companies because they're just really good. I'm not sure if I want to mess with War Dog, if any of you have him.
Yeah, I kind of don't either. He sits in his box. Look, honestly, I think I've said this before. Like, I've got War Dog, and I had their Sunstreaker as well, and their Sunstreaker really put me off them for a while. It's only with the mini bots I've really come back and just gone, yeah, let's talk about these figures.
So is War Dog worth it, or should I just wait?
If you look at reviews, it's probably one of the worst figures to transform in existence. But
But he looks great.
Yeah, hint for later on with the giveaway. I had a look at the veteran version that I've got here.
It's a great figure, and everyone loves him and wants him.
It's more of a reveal than a hint.
Just holding that thing in. I can delete from the podcast. Just holding that thing in the hands. It's got some nice weight to it. It's got some awesome detail on it.
Well, some members of this podcast may have entered to win that specifically. I mean, what did I say? Nothing. I don't know. Anyway,
it's definitely on my wish list to get that War Dog.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and he's a mini bot, so he fits in with the rest. So anyway, I can't speak highly enough of Bad Cube because they're just really knocking it out of the park at the moment. They might have stumbled a bit earlier, but love them. Doing a good job.
Fantastic. I'm going to take a while. Sorry, I'll try to get through there. I'll try to get through these with some quick impressions. So. First thing, it's been a while since I actually had acquisitions, so I think y'all can wait. First thing we have is one of the Titans Return box sets. Brad, do you want to put the camera on me there?
Yeah, I just noticed it wasn't on. Okay.
That's on you. So I haven't actually bought that many Titans Return figures. I bought, I think, some of the initial waves, but I've not bothered with a lot of the Voyagers or any of the leaders. So what I have decided to bother with is the 2 gift sets, though, because they're a little bit rarer. They're a little bit special. So first one I've acquired is Siege on Cybertron. Now, you don't have to watch me open it like a couple of weeks ago with Power Glide. I have already opened them.
Why not?
Because it's boring.
Oh.
So I got to say, I think my favorite figure of the set is actually the little clone guy.
Yes, good, because they're awesome.
Pounce or Wingspan?
They're so good. I think it's Pounce in this set.
That's weird.
I want both of them, but I don't want to have to buy that set to get him.
Yeah. Too bad. He's actually really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like they're really good. They're really well articulated, and yeah, he's quite fun to transform. Hasbro clearly knew this because despite being the smallest figure in the set, he is in fact the largest figure on the box art. Besides that,
scale.
I know. Like, what even is it?
Nope.
Besides that, we had the Tidal Wave repaint of Broadside, I think.
Do you like
nice.
Right? Am I liking him?
Yeah.
I like his colors. I think his paint job is a little bit shoddy. Like, you can see where the join between the orange and the purple is there.
They
could always sell it. He's going like hotcakes at the moment. People just want the Tidal Wave.
Yeah. Like, I mean, so look, I can see why that would be.
They went for his more later Shockwave / Tidal Wave appearance because, Tidal Wave's more green and stuff, which I wish they went for, but, it's cool, I guess.
I have to say, I still think the Armada Tidal Wave toy like craps all over that thing. Like it just,
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it just looks so much cooler.
We've seen quite a bit of tidal wave in the group in the last couple of weeks as well. The older version too.
Such a good toy.
Broadside.
Yeah, like he is actually a nice enough figure, and having transformed him out of the aircraft carrier mode, like I quite appreciate his transformation process. So. Cool.
Does he
the
come
worst
with
gun in existence? Clear plastic. Bullshit.
Brad, what were you saying?
Does he come with the little jet sprue of Superior?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Okay. So they did carry that on. Yep.
Like honestly, they're not the aerial bombs. they're just jets.
Yeah.
This guy's pretty good. Metal Hawk.
Yeah.
I appreciate his color scheme. I appreciate the mold. So like, you know, of course we appreciate the mold because he's what is he? Is he trigger happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I quite appreciate him. I also kind of appreciate him because Metal Hawk had quite a prominent role in the comics, and they've sort of
well, even more so than that, there was a Japanese series. I think it was part of the Super God series or something like that. Metal Hawk is like the Optimus Prime figure. He's like the leader of the Autobots in that series, and he's got.
Speaking of.
Speaking of, this is not Optimus Prime. No, sirree. Not at all. Excuse me. According to the box, this is Magnus Prime. He's not even white.
Stupid
in
name.
way, shape, or form. It's kind of silly. And also, he's got the stupidest feet ever. Like,
at least you can combine him with the bloody thing.
Yeah, so like his feet are freaking terrible. Like
you boys and your Autobots.
He's got
that's straight up the Power Master, Takara Power Master.
Yeah,
it is. Yes.
Yeah, those feet are the single reason why I cancelled my pre-order on it.
It's probably a good move too, having like played with this one. Like he's actually really hard to stand up. He has ankle tilts, but like you're like, why bother?
Yeah,
and apparently the God Bomber is just atrocious. Apparently, because
well, I've got no reason to combine it with that thing whatsoever. I was going to buy a Hasbro one just to swap the legs over, but
see, I
also need to go find me a Nitro Zeus.
Yes, you do. Because Repro Labels could make an awesome set, and that'd just make it perfect.
Oh yeah.
This is going to be a weekend project finding a Nitro Zeus for Thunderwing.
Yeah.
So like I said, Pounce kind of the highlight of the set. He's like he's the character we haven't actually seen before, so he's new and in sort of keeping with the Hasbro Legends scale-ish bots. Really good.
Oh, by the way, they are coming out in 2 packs, but like it's only for like Japan.
The Takara ones.
Yeah.
It's the red version though, isn't it? Or has it got the white one as well?
Both the Autobot and Decepticon clones are coming out, but
okay.
Then there's one set that's got one Autobot and one Decepticon in it, and you need to buy the other set to get the other one as well. Which is good because I am actually looking for Chaos on Velocitron. So if you want to sell me the set, then go right ahead. There's also this guy who has been in the news quite a lot lately. After his apparent cancellation and then resurrection, we are talking about Make Toys Galaxy Meteor, which is their sort of MP style representation of Galaxy Force Starscream, and goddamn, he's gorgeous.
He's a lot smaller than I expected.
He is not huge. Like let's put him next to Optimus Prime, who I can't be bothered turning around. He's about the same size.
Oh wow, yeah, so leader.
Yeah, leader class.
So he's Cybertron Starscream.
I'm not sure. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I can. Yeah, there you go. So yes, he is Cybertron Starscream. He does come with an alternate faceplate as well. But like I really appreciate. Yes, there is a smirky one. I really appreciate all the effort that they've gone to for all the parts. I'm trying to get these. I'm trying to get the swords.
Try the black buttons. Is that it?
There's a black button. I don't know.
Was it black on the front? I don't know.
Oh, maybe it is.
There
we go. It'll have your eye out. There we go.
That's
so like nice. Now he's way deadlier. And
he looks like a Gundam.
Yeah, he totally does look like a Gundam, and the purple bits are in fact transparent as well. So
be good in a sushi restaurant.
They flick out. I thought they were spring loaded.
They are spring loaded.
Yeah, but to shoot out straight out, not flick out.
No, they rotate around.
Oh no, that's how they did it on the original. What?
No,
What?
I gotta say, like, it's an awesome looking figure. He's fantastic, but I gotta say, there are a couple of issues.
He's overcompensating for one.
But so there are a couple of issues.
Oh, loose legs.
Really loose legs. I am hoping that a little bit of a tighten of the screw at the back will
bit of nail polish will fix that right up, mate.
Well, I have to take it off to apply nail polish, and I'm not sure I really want to do that. His hands don't really move very far. Like, you can't rotate his hands around. You're sort of stuck with his hands being where they are, and the articulation off the shoulders is not great because this part up here, so it rotates off the top rather than off the shoulder itself. So yeah, it's a little bit weird. You probably get used to it, I guess. So it's kind of weird, right? You can see me really having to push really hard to move these joints, and yet that leg is just hanging there.
Push it to the limit.
Yeah. Good thing it's not $180 then.
Well, it's not. So that's the thing. He's $130. So he ain't bad.
Save the 50.
Yeah. He's cheaper than he was originally. I was just trying to think. There was something else. There was something else that I was. Yeah, there was Mikey. There was something else I was going to have a little bit of a bitch about, which is they could well have done the normal Masterpiece style gun thing where you have the notch in the hand to insert the thing into, but they didn't. They have instead put this. I don't know how well you can see this on here. They instead put this part that you can just sort of see there that has to sort of jam into the back of his hand where there's a notch at the back of the hand. Right. It doesn't work.
I was going to say, let's guess a different, but it doesn't fit snugly.
It doesn't fit properly at all. So
that's a shame.
Yeah, but like you can sort of fudge it, and you can close his hand sort of mostly around it. You can see his right hand there. So
So he's got that bit of half articulation like Culture or somebody has like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's.
Chug Masterpiece, yeah.
He's Chugstapiece. He's got the three fingers, and the trigger finger moves independently.
So that's basically Masterpiece.
I guess. Yeah.
Chugstapiece.
I've been looking forward to this guy for a long time. He doesn't disappoint too much, but he's not perfect.
He looks nice. He looks spectacular.
He looks fantastic. Like, when you put him on a shelf, you're not going to be upset with him at all. And finally, a couple other things. These aren't opened yet, so they'll be quick. A couple of convention exclusive figures, although I'm not so sure how much they count as convention exclusive. But so we got the Hasbro RC with Leonid and Ultra Magnus, the Titan Master Ultra Magnus there. This was as one of the convention exclusives from the US, and
will you open her?
It's all like it's still sealed in, so I will, but I'm not going to do it on the podcast.
Yeah, obviously.
And so the other one is the more recent edition, which is Grottusk and Scorponok, which they're there. So
interesting to see the newest Monster Bot.
Indeed, yes. So, one thing I haven't actually seen mentioned with these guys very much is that the plastic actually has their name molded into it, which is
that's cool.
I thought it was kind of a nice touch. Same thing happens over on happens over on this side as well. Like, you can just sort of see Scorponok molded into the plastic there as well.
Oh, cool.
Not really,
but that's the thing, though. You can open them up like that and have them as a display piece.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's definitely.
I thought I wouldn't want to open that or cut the figure out or anything.
Yeah, no. Good luck, Jason.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about these, so these are how these things ship. When I posted this in the group, and someone said, "Oh, is that what's in those boxes? Like, there's a shitload of them in Toys R Us in Hong Kong, but no one can see what's inside them, so no one's buying them."
Oh, wow, really?
Because that'd be taped. Yeah, they'd tape shut, so there's no.
Yeah, totally.
Oh,
Tape shut.
That's stupid.
I'm just gonna go into Toys R Us and buy a mystery box.
Now,
$100, sure.
Now, the other interesting thing about this is, bearing in mind that they are convention exclusives, and this has happened previously when I got the SDCC Devastator and the Combiner Hunters set a couple of years ago. Given that this is a box set of something that was distributed exclusively at an American convention, why does it have focus? Why does it have Hasbro Australia's information printed on it?
Printed as in like not stuck on.
Like it is. That is not stuck on. That is printed directly onto the box.
Oh, conspiracies.
It's got Hasbro Canada. And it's got
It's a knockoff. It's a knockoff. It's worth nothing.
distributed. Do you want me to send it to you then? Distributed in Australia and blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, so this is actually clearly the convention exclusive figure, but made for an overseas market. So maybe it's a sign that these figures might turn up in Toys R Us here.
No doubt.
They must have at least, like, for legal reasons, pre-made boxes for the legalities of it. Like.
You got to show what's in there. You can't. Oh, I'm going to go into a store. I'm just going to buy a slam dunking Autobot symbol.
So in terms of the legalities, like we can purchase imported stuff. It's fine. It doesn't have to be swapped into a box with an Australian address on it. And so I find it really
what I
interesting.
mean though is, like, can they? It's their licensing when they're selling it in other countries. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine if you go over and, I don't know how it works. That's just a on the spot theory, but I do find that strange. It's weird that they would have that already printed like that.
Yeah. Same thing with my SDCC Devastator and Combiner Hunters sets. They both have Australian addresses printed on, which means, like, Hasbro is actually bringing these things into the country and selling them. They're just not doing it at normal retailers.
Or legally.
There's a guy with a trench coat on the corner.
Hey, do you want to see the power of the primes?
Here we go, give me some RC. Okay.
Chris, we've all sort of gone forth with our new acquisition. So, do you want to talk a little bit about? You've already spoken a little bit about your collection and your collecting habits. What's new in your collection, or what have you just ordered that you're waiting on for arrival?
Well, I've basically had to limit what I'm going to show in here because I don't want to take up all night. Because I've been really lucky. Well, I've been really lucky in the last couple of months.
That's actually why I went first.
I've actually been able to knock off quite a few grails.
No KOs. I've really been lucky in the respect that some figures I've been chasing for ages, I've just knocked them down, and so I'm actually but I've narrowed it down just to a couple that I'd want to talk about on the podcast. Yeah, go for it.
Firstly, being good old Waspinator. I got Generations Waspinator.
Has he got a switch to move his wings?
Yeah, he does.
I had no idea about this.
It's awesome, man.
That's so cool.
The gimmick is not lost on me, hey? Like,
that's news to me as well.
Oh my god!
Yeah, well, if you see, there's a little tab on his back.
Yeah,
and just with
a little giant obvious tab.
Yeah.
I got too about trying to get his legs to peg into something, but
the legs were a pain in the ass. That's the only thing bad I'll say about this, is that the transformation sequence was pretty confusing at first, and it took a few frustrated moments of like, well, the instructions don't say to do that, but but no, this guy's great. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I've got a anniversary edition Megatron, and he looked a bit lonely on my shelf, being my only Predacon, so I thought I'll get him a little buddy. And really the only sort of modern Beast Wars figure in the Chug range that's a Predacon at the moment is Waspinator. So and they look fantastic together. Like, they really do look like they were made to be, even though they're from different series, they look like they've been made to sit next to each other. So he's great. I won't spend too much time on him. I mean, a lot of people already have him. He's a pretty old figure now, relatively speaking.
It's actually it is so nice to see someone get out a chug and show it off, because like all the Combiner Wars and the Titans Return figures, they all have a very sort of similar look to them, and all the chugs all have it's quite refreshing, really.
Yeah, well, they're different. They're more gimmicky, and they're more sort of, you know, they're not so much on like, oh, don't touch this, it'll break. It'll be like, hey, check this out, you can do this with it, you know, like, and it's there's a sort of certain appeal to it. But yeah, so anyway, that's Generations Waspinator. I'm pretty happy with him. One thing I will say before I put him down is I love how they've captured not only his look from the show, but he's really organic looking. Like he doesn't look like a robot. He looks like a big bug, you know, like, and yeah, I thought that was really cool. One I wanted to show off that probably the least recent, but I just absolutely in love with this guy because he's actually my favorite character.
Sorry, that's me dropping my phone.
He was so amazed that it was.
Oh my god!
So I know you've been looking forward to this guy for a while. So yeah, please do show him off. It's Bludgeon, right?
Bludgeon is my favorite character from Transformers. He's actually my admin tag on the Decepticon Military Network. I post as Commander Bludgeon on there. So this is by DNA. DNA is a new company. One of the founding people who started the company has actually come from MMC and does all the designs for them. So there's a very MMC kind of feel. And look, Susanu, which is the name of their Bludgeon, he's sort of MP Bludgeon basically. He's their only figure they've brought out so far, but he's, you know, it's a brand new company. Like they've already got shots for a Bonsaitron repaint.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen that. Yep.
So he's very heavily based on Revenge of the Fallen Voyager Bludgeon, which was the Bludgeon to have in the Chug range. But I haven't got a bad thing to say about this guy. I was lucky because I got the. He normally comes with sort of like a kabuki kind of samurai mask thing. But if you pre-ordered him, they gave you the bonus G1 skull face from his Pretender shell. But yeah, this guy's awesome. He comes with a big samurai sword, couple of katanas. There's sort of like all these gimmicks they throw in. He's really articulate. He's really heavily detailed. Everything. I mean, even like the tracks from his tanks, they become like flowing kind of robe things that you can position. But I can't recommend him enough. He's actually, especially if you're a fan of the character, like he's just pretty much and as far as finger articulation goes, it's like the best I've ever seen. Like you can actually just like every single individual finger, if you can see there, has individual joints. Like it's pretty good.
Sort of like KFC's hands.
Yeah, that's it. It's like they've sort of gone to that extra effort.
Holding something.
Yeah, I've got some with hands.
The only thing I have to say about this guy, sorry, Mikey, I was just going to say the only thing I have to say about this guy is he is a bastard to transform. Like the worst I've ever come across. Like he's absolutely insanely hard to transform, and it takes a long time. And there's a lot of biting your lip, God, please don't break moments. So that's the only bad thing I'll say about him. But yeah, sorry, Mikey, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just wondering if you knew this thing about Revenge of the Fallen Bludgeon. The reason why the Revenge of the Fallen Voyager Bludgeon has all the parts missing and like all see-through and stuff is because that's him repairing himself. So he actually got into a fight. There was like this 2-pack in Revenge of the Fallen. It was a repaint of Wreckage into Bludgeon, and he was fighting Whirl, who was a repaint of
I've actually got that pack. I think I gave the world to somebody else. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I can't imagine why. And then he beat him up so much that he had to reformat, and then that's why the Revenge of the Fallen Bludgeon is all like missing pieces. He's got his gappy and all that. I found whenever I found that out, it was cool.
Well, the funny thing is that's the story behind it, like canon-wise, like as far as their box story goes. But the truth of the matter is, I've got both of them, and there's a very clear reason why there's two versions, because they're both Revenge of the Fallen. One's Deluxe and one's Voyager. One's the big samurai, one's like a little tank guy. And it's a very clear reference to the G1 Pretender. Right. So the Voyager is the samurai Pretender shell, but the little green guy is the tank that came out of him, sort of thing. So that's what
Which
I always...
is awesome as well.
yeah, it's cool. It's like they don't directly reference that, but it's a very clear nod to it. It's like that's what they were going for.
I always found that interesting when I did find that that fact out about that. I didn't know they actually went that far into the toys to actually like reference other versions of the figures, which is pretty cool. But that's cool. Yeah, no. So
oh yeah, and
do you recommend that guy or?
Yeah, definitely, man. Like I'm fairly biased because he is my favorite character, and I think that's probably the best version we'll ever see of him. He's MP quality. Comes with a lot of gimmicks. He sort of holds true to the character and to the original toys and stuff. He's a direct reference to that Revenge of the Fallen Voyager as well.
Yeah.
But even objectively, as far if you like MPs and if you're a fan of MMC, it's very MMC styled, and even though it is MP quality, it's still sort of almost got that kind of chug feel that MMC goes for. So yeah, I couldn't recommend him enough. He's definitely my current favorite in my whole collection. So
cool.
But yeah, I better hurry this up, so I'll quickly move along. After getting Susanoo, I finally ticked off a Grail and got myself a Culture MMC.
Very nice.
Obviously, being the Decepticon fan that I had to get myself a Culture, who is, of course, IDW's Tarn. And another cool little bonus that I happen to be mates with Leonard Tanner, who's doing a bit of work for an MMC dealer at the moment. And interestingly enough, when you take people who have Culture would know when you take his helmet off, he's got Roller's face underneath the Decepticon mask.
Yes.
Now, that was because there was a fan theory going at the time that Roller was Tarn. If you know the comics, if you don't, I won't go into it. It's too long a story.
It's okay. It bores Brad, but the rest of us are familiar.
Yeah, but they've since revealed a while back in the comics that it wasn't, in fact, Roller, that Tarn was all along. He was Glitch, who's sort of like a Shockwave-style Cyclops transformer. So they've actually released a repaint since of Culture MMC, which is a red and orange one, which is Glitch.
That's
and he's
the
actually got
asterisk mode.
Yeah, he's actually got an Autobot mask that goes over him.
Now, are you going to buy that?
Well, the thing is, no, I'm not, obviously. But the funny thing is they also apparently released as a bonus with it a replacement head for Tarn, which is the Decepticon glitch head underneath the mask. So the reason I told you that story is because I spoke to Leonard and I was like, well, that sucks. I don't want to buy the Autobot one just for the proper head. And he's actually organised just to get me the head, and he's just going to send me one. So yeah, perks of being an MMC dealer. So. But yeah, so that's Culture. I mean, he's not a new figure by any means, but I won't go on about him, but he's fantastic. I really, really love this guy. I love the way he's almost MP quality as far as looks and everything goes, but he's actually like super sturdy, like Chug style simplicity. Like you can throw him around. He doesn't chip or anything like that, and doesn't come apart. So yeah, really like. Yeah, Tarn rocks. So
he's also got one of the simplest transformations of a third-party figure ever.
Oh yeah,
is totally okay with. It's fantastic, and he looks.
He basically just lies down and pushes his arms and legs together, and then he's like a rescue bot. Like he just.
Well, that's how I sleep at night.
Isn't there a version of the DJD coming out that's legend sized and it combines?
Oh yeah. Apparently it's Iron Factory, and then it's part of that legend scale. The wave of it. It's funny when you see what I'm going to show you next. Then it's funny that you brought that up. But it's part of that whole legend scale thing. But if that's the one you're talking about, it's actually the entire Decepticon Justice Division, or DJD, and they all combine into like a big sort of mean-looking Tarn thing. Yeah, so I'll be getting that for sure. There's no question about it. Yeah, I don't care if it's rubbish. I'll still get it.
It doesn't look rubbish. It doesn't look rubbish at all.
I'm going to get it, but I don't really fancy them combining, so they'll just be individual.
No, yeah, I don't think anyone does.
Even MMC hasn't brought out the full Justice Division yet. They've still only got 3 of them, so it'll be cool just to have the whole group, you know.
Yeah,
so even if it's let's go. So, speaking of which, I've got a few more I bought recently, but I've just narrowed it down to my current favourites that I'm enjoying at the moment. And this one is actually it's a KO. but I actually got this.
We were only kidding about the no KOs earlier.
I know. I actually got this.
Oh yeah, I know this.
Off Stuart Flynn of
Toybot
Imports, who kindly sponsored our Queensland Club birthday event. And this is a KO of the DX9 Cyclonus.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
lovely.
And yeah, cool. He's really cool. I'm a big fan of Cyclonus as well. I'm a big Galvatron fan, so I've got a few different versions of Galvatron, Cyclonus, Scourge, and all that. And this guy's just cool. Like, I don't really even have any of the others in the same scale. Like, I've got the Iron Factory Acid Storm Seeker on pre-order, but other than that, there's not really anything he fits in with. But I just had to get him anyway. He's just awesome. Like, he was really cheap too.
And his Armada, or whatever they call that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny you say that because I've got Galvatron, Scourge, Cyclonus, and Unicron on display, but I've sort of got on a clear stand, like him just sort of hovering above Cyclonus. So as a sort of wink to the whole, that's his Armada, I guess. But yeah, but he's very basic. He's very simple. He's sort of, but considering he's a KO, he's got pretty nice. I can't really see it in this light or with the crappiness of this camera, but he's legit like Cyclonus purple all over. And there's sort of like a color range. He's like fairly nicely posable. Yeah, I don't know why I've actually bought more expensive figures that I haven't mentioned and that recently. But yeah, he's sort of one of my favorites at the moment. I love Cyclonus. He's cool.
God, I love the way you say Cyclonus. It's great.
Why? How do I say it?
Awesomely. That's how you say it.
Yeah, and I won't bother dragging him out. But the other thing I think I should mention before I move it on to Brad is that I also completed the Headmaster trio for Titan's Return. So I've recently got Slugslinger. So I've now got Trigger Happy, Slugslinger, and Misfire. So
nice. Fantastic.
Yeah, which I've been chasing them down for a while, and Slugslinger kind of took a while to get a hold of. So
you're gonna try and combine them?
Nah.
Looks like it's very difficult.
Yeah, and it doesn't look that great when they're combined either. It just no. It's very fan mode.
I wonder how if I could just try and just shove everything in here. Oh, good. Yeah. It looks like garbage. That's fantastic.
So just like Volcanicus then.
At least we know.
So yeah, that's what's new in my world at the moment, guys. Like I said, I bought quite a few things recently, and I've been going a bit crazy to the point where now I'm like, slow down. It's time to chill. But they're my current favorites at the moment that I'm loving. So yeah,
fantastic. Thanks. Now you said you were going to throw to Brad, but I think we already covered Brad. Brad has nil point.
Well, wasn't it last week you got the RID bludgeon, didn't you?
Yeah, someone's been watching our show.
Yeah,
we have a viewer, ladies and gentlemen.
People actually watch it sometimes.
I love how you end up with subtitles.
I'll take your pick. We can pick something out of here.
God.
We can go strong arm.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know where bludgeon is. Isn't it lovely? Like just the stuff you got in the toy box. There's a Altnator's Hound.
Okay. That's
Brad, I'm not sure this counts as new acquisitions anymore.
No, it doesn't.
well, the funny thing was, I mentioned that because I saw it. I mentioned that because I saw it in last week's podcast. So we've actually
right.
It was a new acquisition then.
Yeah, it's an old acquisition now.
Okay.
Anyway, we're way over time.
Yeah, we are way over time. So I think it's about time we bring this little show to a close.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, if we're all set, we're going to move on to some TCCA business. So some serious stuff now, please. If you're sitting comfortably, then we'll begin. Australian Transformers Weekly is produced by Transformers Collectors Club Australia. Now, TCCA is run by volunteers who donate their time and money, like us, to make the club better for everyone. Our goal is to connect Transformers fans around the country, and we do it by engaging the collecting community via podcasts, hangouts, Facebook groups, websites, things like that. We attend and we exhibit at conventions and events, and that costs some money. So if you're enjoying this podcast, and if you have made it to this point, then we hope you are enjoying it. We do hope that you'll consider becoming a paid member of the club. Now, yearly memberships cost just $5. They start at $5. They might go up. They can go up a little bit higher as well, and they help support club activities at conventions, big and small, around the country. Not the company. From Supernova, Oz Comic Con in capital cities to smaller local gatherings like Wollongong or somewhere up north in Queensland. If you enjoy what we do, if you like hanging out in our discussion groups and chatting with us and keeping up to date with all the news and views and current affairs in the Transformers world, please consider joining the club as a paid member. And to do that, you can go to transformerscca.com. And now, as an example of things that we do for our members, Brad's going to talk about the Christmas donation drive, which is on again.
Yes. Yes, it's back again. I suppose one little thing we do too, last week we had a G1 Ultra Magnus Lightning giveaway as well. Congratulations to Leaf Prime that won that. They're still
Did you see
insane.
the photos he put up of it wrestling the Skull Smasher he's got?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, he's got photos of the Crocky one, and obviously it's a repaint of Skull Smasher from Titan's Return, and and he's got them like doing wrestling moves on each other and stuff. Like, yeah, it was classic. But it was basically a thank you post for winning the competition. But yeah, it was well done.
Oh, fantastic. But yeah, this is the 4th year we're doing the Christmas giveaway or donation drive. And we normally leave the big ones for Christmas. So this year we've got some of the major prizes, a brand new Masterpiece Megatron, Masterpiece Shockwave, Sunstreaker. We got some third parties like I hinted at earlier, Veteran War Dog, the TFCon exclusive Mirage, which is Sphinx, I think. That one's Sphinx, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Ocular Max Sphinx. It's pretty much the first thing that Ocular Max put onto the scene and really made a name for themselves.
And it's got the sort of half it's clear, half it's Mirage as he's going into his invisible mode. But there's some G1 characters.
Quite sought after, that character.
Yeah, I was going to say, very desired, that Sphinx.
Yeah,
you can pretty much name price for him these days.
$5 is all. $5 is all it'll take to be the winner. So yeah, there's no limit on how many tickets you can get. With we're at 60 tickets, or about 60 tickets already. So people have started donating already. And like Jason said before, with like the memberships, it just helps out. The goal's 300 tickets, and normally once we get to there, we can sort of fills out the quota for paying for conventions next year, which then it doesn't include all the promotional stuff that's got to go into them as well, which can get up there as well. But yeah, that's all the stuff. All the details are at the website, transformerscca.com.
It's got to be the biggest, most impressive prize haul I've seen in the club.
I'll say.
It's amazing.
As I alluded to cleverly before, not cleverly. There's a War Dog in there, and I'll happily, if I come first, purchase that as my prize.
And as we're recording,
I've already ended. So
yeah, and Richard Burchich just donated as well. So
yeah,
thank you, Richard.
Is this our best start to a thing like this? 60-ish?
I'm going to say yes, because we had a couple of power donors straight up. So
is that me?
Yeah, you were one of them. I know that.
the power donors contribute to many giveaways and make their way around the group in multicolored costumes.
Well, that's me then. Perfect.
They are the mighty donating power donors. Anyway.
Also, my liver and bladder belong to the TCCA as well, so that sucks. But anyway,
all right.
I die, obviously not now. Anyway, go buy tickets. Actually, don't buy tickets because I want to win the shit. So stay away. I'm just going to buy all the tickets you can. Buy all of them. Buy me more. Buy tickets. Put them in my name. Good. That'd be good. Yeah. Go through this thing. This is a really, really cool thing that Brad and Toybot Imports are doing. So everyone with TCCA. So yeah, definitely go in. Got to be in it to win it. And I mean, you can't complain about the prizes. I mean, we've got a prize for everyone. There's a lot of good stuff. Like you'd think it'd just be some weird stuff, but there's some good stuff in there. There is a lot of good stuff in there. So you got to be in it to win it.
Yep.
All right. We are coming up on the 2-hour mark, so it's time to end the show.
Oh my God! Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Good luck, listeners, if you got it this far.
Thank you for listening, everyone. And if you are watching along with the live record, thank you for watching and participating. To find out more about these stories, you'll find links to them all and more in the show notes, including the stuff that we didn't talk about. If you want to get in touch with us, the official website for the podcast is on Podbean. It's transformersweekly.podbean.com. The Facebook page is called Australian Transformers Weekly, funnily enough, and we are all in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia group on Facebook. If you're not already subscribed to the podcast, you can find it on iTunes, Pocket Casts, YouTube, and other podcast catchers of choice and distinction. The RSS feed link is on the website and is in the show notes. We also now have a companion podcast, which has been going for some weeks now. If you or your kids are interested in the younger themed Transformers toys, franchises like Rescue Bots, Robots in Disguise, you might want to listen to Transformers Legends. You can find it on Facebook and on the TCCA YouTube channel, and its website is tflpod.podbean.com. Australian Transformers Weekly is a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia. The club is registered and incorporated in Victoria. You can find more information about the club at transformerscca.com. And as we said earlier, please consider coming along and signing up for a paid membership. It's just $5 a year. Thank you for listening, and we will be back with more Transformers news next week.
Excellent. See you guys.
See you later, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Been a pleasure, man.
See you later.
Why did I say that?